Retire young, retire rich. Robert Kiyosaki. How to get rich quickly and stay rich forever. How did you do it? Whenever I tell this story, the question I am asked is, how? How did you do it? I then say, it's not about how, it's about why Kim and I did it. I go on to say, without the why, the how would have been impossible. I could go on to tell you how Kim, Larry, and I did it, but I won't. How did we did it is not that important. When it comes to how we did it, what I will say is that from 1985 to 1994, Kim, Larry, and I focused on reaching the three paths to great wealth, which are 1. Increasing business skill. 2. Increasing money management skill. 3. Increasing investment skill. There are many books written on each of these paths, and if I did the same, this would be just another how-to book. But what I think is more important than how-to is the why we did it. And the why is the because I wanted to challenge my own self-doubt, my laziness, and my past. It was the why that gave us the power to do the how. Rich Dad often said, many people ask me how to do something. I used to tell them until I realized that even after I told them how I did something, they often did not do it. I then realized that it was not the how to, but why I do something that is more important. It's the why that gives you the power to do the how to. He also said the reason most people do not do what they can do is because they do not have a strong enough why. Once you find the why, it's easy to find your own how to do wealth. Instead of looking inside of themselves to find their way why they want to become rich, most people look for the easy road to wealth. And the problem with the easy road is the easy road usually ends in a dead end. Arguing with myself. That night, sitting in the World Mountain cabin, listening to Larry, I found myself silently arguing with him. Every time I said, let's see it as a goal, write it down, and create a plan, I could hear myself arguing in response, saying such a thing as, but we don't have any money. I can't do that. I'll think about it next year, or once Kim and I get settled. You don't understand our situation. I need more time. Over the years, my rich dad had taught me many lessons. One of the lessons was, if you find yourself arguing with a good idea, you may want to stop arguing. The night, as Eddie went on and on about getting rich and retiring early, I again heard Rich Dad warning me about arguing against a good idea. Explaining further, Rich Dad said, whenever someone says something like, I can afford it, or I can do it, to something they want, they have a big problem. Why in the world would someone say, I can't afford it, or I can do it, to something they want? Why would someone deny themselves the thing they want? It makes no logical sense. As the fire crackled in the fireplace, I found myself arguing against something I wanted. When I retire rich and retire early, I finally asked myself, what would be wrong with you? With that, my mind began to open slowly, and I repeated silently to myself, why am I arguing against the idea? Why am I arguing against myself? It's a good idea. I have talked about it for years. I did want to retire by 35, and now I am soon be 37 years old, and I am not even close to retiring. In fact, I'm really broke. So, why am I arguing? Once I said that to myself, I realized why I had been arguing against the good idea. At the age of 25, I had planned on becoming rich and retiring between ages 30 to 35. I was my dream. And after losing my Velcro wallet business the first time, my spirit was crushed and I had lost much self-confidence. Then I settled. Then I sitting by the fire, I realized it was my lack of self-confidence that was doing that arguing. I was arguing against the dream I wanted. I was arguing because I did not want it to feel disappointed again. I was arguing because I was protecting myself from the pain that big dreaming can bring it to that big dream does not become reality. I had dreamed and failed. That night I realized that I was arguing against failing again, not against the dream. Okay, let's set a big goal, I said quietly to Larry. I had finally stopped arguing against the good idea. The argument was still there, but I was not going to let the argument stop me. After all, it's only an argument I was having with myself and no one else. The little person in me was arguing against the person that wanted to grow up and be bigger. Good, said the lady. It's about time you stopped being such a wimp. I was really getting worried about you. The reason I had decided to do it was because I had found me why. I knew why I was going to do it. Though, at the moment, I did not know how I was going to do it. Why I decided to retire early? How many of you have ever occasion said to yourself, I am sick and tired of myself? Well, then New Year's Eve, sitting around the fire with Kim and Larry, I got sick and tired of my old self and decided to change. It was not just a mental change. It was a change that came from deep inside. It was time for a big change, and I knew I could change because I found out why I wanted to change. The following are some of my personal whys. Why I decided to go for retiring early and retiring rich. 1. I was fed up with being broke and always struggling for money. I had been rich for a brief moment with my wallet business, but after the business crashed, I was back to struggling again. Although my rich dad had taught me well, I still only had his lessons. I had still not become rich, and it was time for me to become rich. 2. I was tired of being average. Through school, teacher said, Robert is a bright boy, but he just does not apply himself. They also said, he's bright, but he'll never be as smart as the gifted kids. He's just above average. That night sitting on the mountain, I got sick and tired of being average. It was time for me to stop being average. 3. When I was 8 years old, I came home and found my mom crying at the kitchen table. She was crying because we were buried under the mountain of bills. My dad was doing the best he could to earn more money, but as a school teacher, he wasn't doing so well financially. All he would say was, don't worry, I'll handle it. But he didn't. The way my dad handled it was by going back to school, working harder, and waiting for his annual pay raise. Meanwhile, the bills kept piling up, and my mom felt more and more alone with no one to turn to. My dad did not like to discuss the subject of money, and if he did, he only got angry. I remember decided at the age of 8 to find the answer that could help my mom. That night, sitting on the mountain, I realized that I had found an answer I had searched for since the age of 8. I was now time to take those answers and turn them into reality. 4. The most painful why of all was the reality that I now had a beautiful young woman in my life, Kim. I had met my soulmate, and she was in this financial mess because she loved me. That night on the mountain, I realized that I was doing on Kim what my dad had done to my mom. I was repeating a family pattern. At that moment, I found my real why. So, those are my whys. I wrote them down that night and kept them in a secret place. For those of you who read my second book, Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant, you may recall that things got worse for us once we left the mountain. I started that book by telling the story of Kim and me living in a car for about 3 weeks after my money ran out. So things did not get better just because we made the decision to retire rich, but it was the reasons why that kept us going. Things did not go well for Larry either after leaving the mountain. He too had a substantial financial setback in the late 1980s, yet his wise kept him going.